It's Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Disruptive FM. Welcome to Disruptive FM, where business and culture collide. Sponsored by Microsoft and Branding Strategy Insider. With your host, Jeffrey Colon.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Disruptive FM, the culture of business. I'm Jeffrey Colon. I'll be your host for another 15 minutes or so as we look at what's shaking at the intersection of business, tech, media, and popular culture. Here we go.
Here are this week's trending topics.
Facebook failing. Well, the heat really seems to be on Facebook lately. The network is under attack once again for lack of transparency and its ad products. A few weeks ago, VP of Advertising Rob Goldman unleashed a tweet storm claiming that Facebook didn't cause any issues in the 2016 election. Goldman noted that Russia's suspected meddling in the U.S. politics wasn't expressly meant to elect Donald Trump president, but was intended to sow fear and hatred among Americans. An assessment that was endorsed by Trump himself, who later retweeted Goldman. Goldman said, and I'm quoting him now, "The main goal of the Russian propaganda and misinformation effort is to divide America by using our institutions like free speech and social media against us. It has stoked fear and hatred amongst Americans. It is working incredibly well. We are quite divided as a nation," unquote. What does this mean for trust? Well, if you're not amongst the many who have deleted Facebook or spend much less time on the platform, the beginning of the end of the Big Blue app may be here. Earlier this week, it came out that Cambridge Analytica, a strategy firm based in London, had obtained data from a third-party developer illegally. Now, why is this important? Cambridge Analytica has gone on the record to say that they helped elect President Trump mainly through using Facebook. And for every case that is discovered in terms of a data breach, there are probably millions that are not. Facebook has a major data crisis on its hands. So did it rush to apologize and get to the heart of the matter? Nope. In fact, it took Mark Zuckerberg 5 days to respond. In a world that moves at the speed of light in terms of communications because of platforms like Facebook, the founder and CEO of the company took 5 days to respond? Is there any hope for Facebook? To me, if it weren't for Instagram, it would be as irrelevant now as Yahoo. Earlier this week, I spoke via Skype with Hilton Barber, a marketing culture change management expert from Toronto, to get to the heart of Facebook's response during this crisis.
So I'd say the struggle, Jeff, is, like any crisis, is how quickly and how authentically has their response been? And I'd say the track record hasn't been great. On one level, we hear that it's taken 2 years of them knowing internally that this was an issue. And then it took a whistleblower at Cambridge Analytica to bring this to the public's notice. That's issue number one. Then in the midst of all of that swirling angst and anger in the market, it takes CEO Mark Zuckerberg a week to appear on CNN. And candidly, if I may, the conversation on CNN last night felt like an extended PR response than an authentic response from a CEO. It certainly sounded like a whole bunch of PR sound bites than an authentic apology, which is what I think people are looking for, is an authentic and heartfelt apology, not a whole bunch of PR sound bites. Interestingly, one of Facebook's largest acquisitions of the last few years was WhatsApp. And now you've had the founder of WhatsApp say everyone should delete Facebook. I can't think of a more scathing indictment than that. I mean, this is somebody to whom he owes a tremendous amount to, and even he is suggesting that deleting Facebook is perhaps the best thing all of us can do. Perhaps even more ironic, Jeff, is in the last month, we've seen KFC in the UK handle a similar crisis at the center of their business. But the way in which they tackled it actually got them widespread kudos and actually even support from people who said, look, your supply chain screwed up and you ran out of chicken. Here you've got the world's largest owners of personal data. I mean, an even more concerning product, if you will, responding so poorly. I mean, let's be honest, if if the guys who sell fried chicken for a living can respond in a way that garners their understanding and even sympathy from their customers, you'd think that Facebook, with their legion of marketing people, would be able to get this right.
Again, that was Hilton Barber, a corporate culture expert and Ogilvy alum. Now, question: what's unique about this moment in time for Facebook? Answer: it faces possible competition. Yeah, I know. In 2014, we had Ello. In 2015, it was Peach. But in 2018, it may be Vero, a buggy Instagram clone that promises to bring back quote-unquote meaningful connections. Vero skyrocketed to the top of the App Store a couple of weeks ago, claiming the #1 spot in the social media category and surpassing 1 million downloads. But already some users are calling for its deletion due to the problematic past of its founder and CEO, Amin Hariri. The barely capable social app's popularity suggests Facebook and Instagram may be facing a deeper backlash than we thought. For every 5 Vero boosters, however, there is at least one person attempting to voice concern. I guess Facebook can still rest peacefully. Well, at least we thought so. There's always LinkedIn, people.
Trending topics on DFM.
Can you hear me now? No, this isn't a Sprint TV commercial, but lately every Tom, Dick, Jane, and Jill is running to start their voice agency of record. It all started because of the manifestation of the voice agency of record, the phrase first used by JP Morgan Chase to describe VaynerMedia last month. But does the latest ad industry lingo leave a lot to be desired? Is it simply another case of the industry's shiny bright things syndrome? Do we really need another silo? Maybe you don't assume that we do, but you certainly expect that every digital agency can do voice. Many shops have indeed launched voice specialty offerings, even though no clients have chosen to label them voice AOR. The big issue with these voice offerings, they center on channels. How do we build for Alexa, Google Home, or the HomePod rather than the end user? We don't sit around when we produce Disruptive FM thinking about channels. We think about the programming, and I'm fearful a bunch of voice AORs will not do this. These technologies are particularly relevant to a big spender like Chase that relies on a lot of interactive servicing. But far smaller and less obvious brands are getting on board as well. For example, Thunderbird Real Food Bars announced that it had hired Austin, Texas-based agency Drumroll as its new voice AOR. We don't know what the initial outcomes of voice activation will do, but several expect brands to benefit across multiple categories, including brand affinity, sales, reach, and more. I'm sure you still love to read, but there's something about hearing the human voice that is so touching. While consensus holds that the importance of voice will only continue to grow in both content and search, it's still, as we like to call it, early days. All right, it seems like every day we hear some new story of hypocrisy, malfeasance, misfeasance, treachery, major fails, scam artists, corporate scumbags, and on and on and on, right? Every day. So all these shenanigans have inspired a new segment here on DFM that we are calling...
And now, Disruptive FM presents... What?
What kind of shit is that?
Come on!
What? Come on. You know what is ludicrous? Complaining when Twitter takes away followers that aren't even real. Twitter locked out a number of accounts that appeared to lean conservative in their politics, possibly because they were using the bot strategy. Automated accounts and automated tweeting is allowed on Twitter generally. It is how companies keep their feeds going at night and on weekends, for instance. But not all such automated accounts, often known as bots, are used for good. It's those that Twitter appears to be going after. The reaction sparked outrage at the end of it all. If you happen to be locked out of your account, maybe you should realize what you are getting mad at is having less followers that aren't even real people in the first place. As social media becomes so twisted it has changed us to be up to no good all the time, is it simply all about the numbers? People aren't being purged. Bots were being purged. If you can't log into your account to prove you are a real person, then Twitter has every right under its terms and conditions to remove you. Since, well, you aren't real. Outrage over losing fake accounts? Well, to that we say...
What? Come on.
On the radar. Trending topics we're following, you can too. Want to hear more Disruptive FM in between our long shows? Join us daily for a 3-minute briefing. Just enable the Disruptive FM Daily Amazon Echo skill for your Echo. Echo Dot, Echo Plus, Echo Show, Echo Spot, or Echo Look.
Here's what's on our radar. Number 1.
Fast Company magazine announced the world's 50 most innovative companies. Apple was again at number 1. Amazon was at number 5. Also donning the list, Spotify, Patagonia, the NBA, SpaceX, Pinterest, and Alfred. Missing Facebook, Google, and Twitter. The top 10 media list for innovation was riddled with podcast companies, including Gimlet Media, Crooked Media, and Anchor.
Number 2.
No brand is the new brand. A few brands to watch in this space are Brandless and MF People. Brandless sells plainly packaged high-end staples for $3 a piece. The way they win? A behavioral trait known as the paradox of choice. People, tired by overchoice, want something that works. After a decade of the storytelling marketing trend, people are literally fatigued by narratives. This new wave of brands is letting customers define them. MF People, which sells cosmetics and clothes, realizes we all do the same things in life, so why do we have to navigate a bunch of labels and brands in order to function? If you're old enough to remember the white label generic products in your grocery store, take note. What used to be classified as out is highly in our everything is a remix world.
Number 3.
Self-care is a massive growth industry in 2018 and only looking to grow even larger by 2023. You have Peloton, MindBody, Flywheel, SoulCycle, and Tough Mudder. Why so big? Digital oversight. In the past, if you didn't get to the gym, no one would nudge you. Now an app can do that. In the past, you would ride a bike in your house alone. Now you can ride with anyone around the world anywhere. In the past, only crazy people would jump into a puddle of mud. Now we call that team building and bonding. Okay, that's going to do it for another show. Thanks for hanging with us here on DFM. Read more in-depth content at brandingstrategyinsider.com and Microsoft.com/stories, the sponsors of our show. And if you love what we talk about here and want to go really deep, pick up a copy of my book, Disruptive Marketing, on hardcover, Kindle, or audio, where all fine books are sold. I'm Jeffrey Colon. Catch you next time.
You've been listening to Disruptive FM with Microsoft Communications designer Jeffrey Colon. All thoughts are his own. Disruptive FM is produced in Los Angeles by Feeler Media.